to go ahead and record. So this is officially our first call for 2017 for the Dream Team. So that's pretty exciting. It was cool to post that today. So thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it. We have a couple that I know will be coming on a little bit late that may share some things too. And but we have so much stuff we kind of wanted to share tonight, but there's only so much time we have. But it's just so exciting because this is the first of the year. Every January, as a lot of you know on here, is crazy. Momentum starts building. It's already building. I've seen it. So it's going to continue for the next 3-4 months. This is our prime time to be doing things, to be setting those goals, to be just ready for that momentum is a big thing, because when it hits you, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty exciting, but you want to be prepared too, so you can run with it and you don't get overwhelmed, but you get the most of it and you stay organized at the same time. Because I've been through this where in the beginning, I wish I would have been a little more organized because I didn't know what was going to happen that first January. But as we all know, New Year's resolutions, you know, new customers, old customers, new and old ambassadors are looking to get started again and started new. So this is the time, you guys, this is the time to really be digging in deep. And that's kind of some things we want to talk about for you guys tonight. So something I wanted to cover is goals. We talk about this a lot, but prime time always to talk about it. And I know for me, the reason I go over this and over this is because I need to hear it several times as well and say, okay, Jeannie, I've got to sit down and I've got to write these goals down and I've got to break them up, and I have to share this with somebody. I have to share it with my spouse, with my upline, with a sideline, anybody on my downline, whoever I want to share it with, because that is so important. So if you guys have heard the talk on goals, you're going to hear it again because it's a huge one. And it's so huge for right now. But the most important thing I wanted you guys to work on is setting your goals for 3 months, 3-month goals, 90 days. Because that's kind of that short-term goal. And this is my theory, is sometimes I think that 3-month goal is a lot easier to focus on. You are rewarded a lot earlier sometimes than maybe that 6-month goal, that yearly goal. So 3 months, I think, is a great way to start. If you need to keep, you know, kind of like I do sometimes of the shorter term, I want you guys to figure out what your goals are in 3 months, where you want to be in 3 months. Is it halfway to a rank, to your next rank? Is it to that next rank? Is it, you know, double ranking? Is it, you know, having a certain amount of team members? Is it working with your team, setting up live meetings, setting up, you know, online meetings, doing different things for your teams? It can be a variety of things, but you need to set that 3-month goal. But I will also want you guys to break those down. That is the most important thing, is breaking down. Because a lot of times we can say, okay, yes, I want to be gold in 3 months. I want to be gold. Okay, but what are we going to do to get there? We have to have that action plan. We have to have those steps to get there. So breaking that down and saying, okay, if you're a silver ambassador, then you know on average it usually takes about 20 ambassadors to get to gold, right? So you say 20 ambassadors. All right, let's break those down. Let's break them down by the month. Let's break them down by the week. And then let's break it down by the day. What are we going to do every day to try to gain so many ambassadors this week and then for that month? And if you don't reach it for that month, you know, you need to increase it for the next month, and that's okay. It is completely doable because I have seen it happen so many times, and this team can do anything. So breaking them down. So I wanted to do a few examples. That's what I was going to pick on GW. So GW, if you'll unmute for me. And he didn't know I was going to do this, so this is completely, but all right, GW, thank you. I know you'll always play along with me. Okay, 3 months. What's your 3-month goal? GW, tell me where you want to be in 3 months with Plexus, and it can be anything you want.
No, in 3 months, I would like to have at least 10 new ambassadors / wholesale customers.
Perfect. Okay. Wholesale customers. So either or, right, GW? Not 10 new ambassadors and 10 new wholesale or customers is what you're saying. I gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So GW, the best way to do that is kind of how would you break that down? What do you think would be the easiest way for you to break that down in 3 months for your month goals, your week goals, and your daily goals? What are you going to kind of do?
Well, I think it's always about the action plan is, I have my action plan as daily. Obviously, the IPAs are always the foundation to any goal. And, and I even talked to Marsan, we had our accountability meeting before this, is, I want to start upping my cold messaging or new messaging to 10. I'm going to start with 5. And by that time, I want to be at 10, at least 10 new messages a day. And then doing the 3 to 5 follow-ups and 1 to a customer or an ambassador. So that's my, new cheat sheet I'm going on.
Okay. Perfect. Love it. Okay. And so one thing I would suggest, GW, with you telling me that, because this is what I would say. Okay, let's break that down and break those 10 new ambassadors down. So let's divide that by 3. And then that's how many ambassadors you need to get for January, February, and March. Okay. So it kind of brings it to, all right, that's my final goal for the end of, March. But we need to break that down and say, I'm going to get this many ambassadors in January and this many in February and this many in March. And then each week, just like you said you're going to do, what are you going to do to get there each week? And what are you going to do to get there each day? If, depending on, like you said, with kind of working at your cold messaging, and then increasing up to there, you're probably going to blow that goal away by the end of March because of your game plan. But breaking it down even into more specific details and having your sights set on that and being a part of your affirmations too, GW. So for January, you're going to say, which I'd go with 4 ambassadors per month just to call it an even 12, for you, or an even 12 at the end. Set your, sorry, you guys, set your goals high, dream big, on that. But you could say your affirmations on, I am going to have 4 new people join me in the month of January, or by January 31st, I can't talk, by January 31st. And just do your affirmations for January and, or wholesale customers, whatever in your mind, GW, because everybody does that different. You've got to write it out that's personalized to you. But writing those affirmations and then writing your daily IPAs towards getting those 4 new ambassadors per day. Now, what I love about that, GW2, is because those 4 ambassadors means that you go silver again every month. And that was one of my big things I was going to touch on, is that is one huge goal is I'm going to be silver every month. And you've got that within your goals. So that's huge. So that's just one thing, how I would try to help you break it down. And also thinking about, GW, the benefits of achieving that goal. What's that going to do for you? What's that going to do for your family? What's that going to do for your team? How's that going to benefit you? And that's a big thing to know and to write down, and really see that and believe that, because having that there beside you doing your daily IPAs and reaching out to those people, that keeps you going, always keeps you thinking about that. And with your affirmations saying, I believe it, I'm going to make it happen. So, okay. Does that make sense? GW, any questions on that?
No. And, tomorrow morning when I get to work, I was going to be switching up my, I have my goals already written out, but I'm going to be, I want to include the 3 month, because I have like a monthly and a yearly goal, but I think, adding a 3 month in between there would also help, because I like to read those every morning, and I want to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to incorporate some of these things here.
Cool. Awesome, GW. And that's what I like is kind of the reward. You see that a little bit quicker too, than just that yearly. And it's all within your yearly goal, you know, but you break it down into those 90 days. That's the 90-day plan. And I think you guys, after Super Saturday too, we are going to have so much at our fingertips with this Rank Up roadmap. From a little bit that I've seen of it, it is going to help with these 3-month goals, with everything, with helping us and us helping our teams too. So that's going to be a huge another piece that's going to be thrown in there that we're all probably going to be blown away with. And it may help us restructure our goals even more. So good. Thank you, GW, for participating in that. I appreciate it.
No problem, Jeannie.
Thank you. So one big thing, you guys, too, that GW mentioned was IPAs. That was a big, big thing that he mentioned. Income producing activities. Those are something you want to do daily. Now, what I personally like to do and what I have had to learn to be better at, and I'm really liking it, is the power hour. Because I get to where I kind of get every which direction throughout the day, and just, you know, whatever's going on throughout the day, I'm trying to help and do my things. And the power hour, you guys, keeps you so much more organized and structured. So for me, I love it. And it's something that I highly recommend doing, and sticking your IPAs in with that power hour. You know, whenever you can do that power hour in the morning, in the evening, at lunch, you know, kind of like we've talked about, whatever works for you guys, pick out that time, and then make that what you do each day, that power hour. That hour goes by so fast. That's sometimes people say, you know, I only have 15 minutes, and that's okay. Do your 15 minutes. But it's amazing when you get into doing your IPAs, boom, that hour is done with in no time at all. And you thought, wow, I didn't realize I had an hour, you know, to sit there. But in that power hour, you've got to do a lot of things towards building your business. You know, it's easy. Sometimes I am really guilty of it. You know, I get into manager mode, and I kind of like manager mode though too, because I love helping and reaching out and figuring out what's going on with the team. And so it's a lot of fun for me, but I have to have that hour where I do my income producing activities for me, to build people for me, to get new level ones, to new customers, you know, checking in with my customers, following up, all of that. You know, a lot of you are doing the 90-day challenge, which congratulations, because a lot of you are doing amazing in that too, by the way. But that 5-3-1 is helpful within that, reaching out to the 5 new people. So most of you are doing that. You know, following up with 3 people per day and helping to train 1 new ambassador. That is so, for me, it's easy for me to remember that, to say, okay, 5-3-1. This, you know, I like to have kind of that structured thing, or I can get very sidetracked and get over here and do this. So having that 5-3-1 for me has been a big thing within that power hour too. And that personal development and growth. If you don't have any other time to read, take 10 minutes at least, you guys, out of that power hour and read your book, or, you know, another, whatever you have that motivates you and gives you that personal growth. But take that time for yourself too, because it's very, very powerful. I will tell you guys, when we had Carrie Wilkerson in Hawaii, she told us that when you're doing that power hour, she tells her husband and everybody, I will not answer the phone during that hour. Don't call me. If you call me, I will not pick up the phone, and the phone's in the other room, because she will do everything within that hour. And she sits down, she's like, I go pee before I sit down for my power hour. I get something to drink, and boom, I'm focused for that hour. Okay. So that's something I have been really doing and really liking, that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay. The last, well, second to last thing I wanted to share with you, and then Libby's going to share some cool things too. I posted a video by Ame Darling, and I'll repost it for you guys. But for those that didn't get to watch it, she talks about the sip and sees, or they're called coffee conversations too, you can call them, and anything you want to name them. But you guys, these are huge. I love the way she explains these. So I'm not going to explain all of it, because I'd love for you guys to go back. It's just a quick 10-minute video, but I think it's very, very effective. And here's some reasons why. Just briefly, she goes out and she personally invites, when she's out and about, like GW starting to work out at the gym today. you know, great suggestion. When you've got people around there, you know, and you're starting to meet and build new relationships, it's a great opportunity to invite somebody for a coffee conversation or a sip and see. Invite them to coffee at a little local restaurant, or a drink, or a glass of wine. You know, Mandy and I could do that all day long in Wilcox because we have so many wineries. So we would get a lot of people there. We need to work on that, Mandy, by the way. But whatever you guys have, you know, that's there, little breakfast places, you know, use your imagination. Think outside of the box, something fun, creative of where you guys could meet people. Now, she just does 2 or 3 people. She likes to try to get 5 there, but usually, as we know, half will maybe show up, right? So she does these with 2 or 3 people, and she invites them, but she creates urgency. So she said she's learned this from Celeste Gwynn. You'll hear that in the video. And she says, I always tell everybody that I run into, I have 1 spot left. 1 spot. She says, it may be the first person you've talked to about it, but you need to tell them you have 1 spot left. Create that urgency. She says, and you don't ask them what time is good for them. You kind of tell them what times you have. She says, it's great how she says, you're $1 million multi-marketer. You know, you need to be bold and confident and act like, hey, they need, you know, it's important for them to come and meet you. It's creating that sense of urgency. She explains it way better than me, you guys, so please listen to her video. But go and meet with these people. She talks about how simple it is. She doesn't go through a whole presentation. She doesn't talk about pay points. She doesn't talk about any of that. Simple and easy. But she mainly focuses a lot on the products. And she kind of goes through with these 2 or 3 people, okay, what are you looking for? What health issues do you have? What do you need? And then she tailors her products, and she talks just about those products to that person, then goes to the next person. And it's, you know, just a little fun, little sip and see. And then, hey, okay, are you ready to order? And she says, they'll say, yeah, okay, let's get with the order. And then if it's all business and want to know the comp plan, and then she'll go that route with that particular person. But she says over here, this product person's going to be falling asleep if you're talking about pay points, you know, in detail. So like I said, she explains it really good. But something I really wanted to encourage you guys, she does these, she'll plan a specific time and she'll do them every 30 minutes at one like coffee place. So she's got 2 to 3 people, boom, you know, she has them in and out of there in 30 minutes, and she's got the next people coming in. So it's also, she's creating that, okay, I'm, you know, I've got you guys, I got to go meet with these people over here, you know? And so they're busy, they've got things to do. So you're not keeping their, you know, them there for an hour, and then you're bringing in the next group of people. But it's whatever works for your guys' schedule. These, of course, are just suggestions that she does that I love, that I think are so effective because they're personable. They're one-on-one. You get people there. They feel your heart. They hear your passion when you're standing there and you're talking directly to them. It seals that sell, which I don't like that word sell, but on this, it's like it seals that because they believe. They believe when you're there talking to them. So I wanted to encourage you guys to think about that and pass this down to your teams. And they can do it. Encourage anybody to do this. This is so simple that I don't want anybody to think that if they haven't done a big presentation and stood up in front of people, they can't do this, because that's false. Anybody can do this. A brand new ambassador can do that today because it's very easy, and we have the tools within that success kit to sit there and have everything to talk to them. So just wanted to make sure, because I think that's going to be a big thing, you guys, and getting that momentum going for January, February, March into April. Is maybe setting some of these up. I wanted to challenge you guys to do some of those and see how they go, and kind of get with your teams, find out their goals, do the same thing of helping them break them down, and then, you know, maybe encourage some of these sip and sees. Maybe go help them with a couple, you know, but then kind of let them do them too. And it's fun. It's fun to do them together too. But if you're not in the same town, make sure they realize they can Zoom you in too, and you can sit there on their phone or their iPad or their computer, and if they have questions, you can help. So, okay. All right, you guys, Well, I am going to turn it over to Libby because Libby and I both had so much to talk about. So I'm going to turn it over to Libby, and she has some awesome things she wants to share with you guys. So take it away, Libby.
Okay. First and foremost, I really, really want to encourage personal development for all of you. It might seem weird at first because you think like, I don't need help. I'm good how I am. Really, believe me. It will help you with your belief in yourself, your belief in your business, and your belief in the products if you don't already have that built up by now as it is. But how I first started was I started following people on YouTube. And when I would work out in the mornings, I would just listen. Instead of listening to music, I started listening to training calls. Some of my favorites that I follow on YouTube are obviously Plexus U. They have a huge playlist of videos that you can learn from. Emily Roberts, she's one of my favorites. She's bold, she's to the point, she doesn't mess around. Sometimes she can be a little bold, like a little too bold, but I love that about her because her belief is just so strong, you know. Give you a couple that I love. There is a team called Ohana Plexus, and they are part of Amy Paul's group. The reason why I'm so infatuated with them is because one of their emeralds was the first emerald in Utah, and Brooke Hemingway is the diamond of that team, and she went diamond, I believe, in a year, something like that. But they have a lot of team calls that I learned so much from. The way that they sign people up is really smart. So just really start, like, watch diamond documentaries and try to find somebody that you connect with and follow their YouTube page if they have one. And then once you subscribe to them, you get notifications all the time. So I also watch like Tim and Michelle Thomas, Tara Castaneda, just tons of diamonds that I watch videos from. I've also followed Les Brown. Just really, really suck yourself into every single training you can that is going to not only teach you different ways of maybe doing business, because we have a certain way that we talk about on our team call, but it's so neat to see how other people do things. It's not necessarily different, but maybe the words that they use or just the way that they approach people, they have really great tips. So that was one thing. And get books. And if you earned the new little Plexus planner, there is a list of books that you want to read throughout the year. And just start writing down books that you hear about. And really just, even if you do 10 pages a day, do you know if you did 10 pages every single day, you would read a 300-page book a month? That's great. You could do 12 books a month, even more. Some of the books I've read, like Rock Your Network Marketing, you could read it in an hour and a half. It's not that big, not that big of a book. So really, really dive into personal development and YouTube videos. They are really great. And I cannot stress the importance of what we're doing right now, team calls. I don't know that, I know sometimes it's hard. We work all day, we have families, and we haven't seen them maybe very much. It's an hour of your time, and it's a precious hour. You are going to not only gain friends, I can look at every single one of you and I've built a relationship with you, but this also helps build your belief, because you're not the only one trying to make this work. We all are. We all have goals. We all have dreams. And together, we're trying to reach those. And so it's fun when you get to do stuff like this, even though you're nervous. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but Jeannie asked me to talk tonight. And the two things that popped up into my head were those two things, personal development events. We will talk about those as well. She kind of did already a little bit, but they're really important. We're getting ready to go to Super Saturday. If you haven't done a lunch event, it is so amazing when you can just express to strangers how the products have changed your life. And that is what has really helped me grow. My second meeting was in Payson, Arizona, and it was my second meeting. I was terrified. There were so many people there. But it was so successful. It was the greatest meeting ever, and all it did was pump me up even more. So if you haven't been to an event or had an event, you definitely need to get those on the books. Or even we have some in Salt Lake that are not even ran by us. They're ran by other ambassadors, and I've gone to those. I've driven 45 minutes one way to go just to see a different side of a presentation than how we do it here on our team. So really try to get to team calls and events as much as you can, especially just to teach yourself and learn. But in preparing for talking about those two things that took me 2 minutes, for some reason I got on the subject of failure. And back in the day, I used to do mortgages, and I was a very successful mortgage broker. I was in the top 5% of our company, and our manager had a little like wood block thing on his desk. And one day I noticed it, and it really hit me. And I've always thought about it many times throughout my life. And it said on it, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And I was always just like dumbfounded by that question. It's kind of a deep question if you think about it. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Would you make cold messages if you knew that every time you were going to ask somebody or talk to somebody they were going to sign right up? Would you walk up to any stranger in the store knowing that they wanted to hear what you had to say and they were going to turn you away? How about your chicken list, right? There's like so many things in this business, network marketing, that are terrifying. And if we knew we couldn't fail, of course we would do it. We'd be silly not to, right? So just some things I want you to kind of look at, like failure is needed. It's necessary, because when we fail and we get told no, or we hear crickets and nobody responds to us, it's a time for us to kind of like reevaluate maybe a different approach, or looking at rewording the way that we approach somebody or something of that nature. Take it as a lesson or a time to learn, not necessarily like to get you down and make you feel like it's never going to happen for you, okay? So things that are also like, what you need to learn from failure is you need to plan. You need to plan your posts. You need to plan your contacts for the day. Jeannie's talking about a power hour. Well, I don't want to spend 15 to 20 minutes of my power hour trying to find out who I'm going to contact that day, because that's wasted time. If you sit down at the end of every month and you can write out a new list of people that you're going to contact right off the bat. There's 5 people. If you're using Facebook Voice Messenger, which is awesome, if you don't know how to use it, reach out to your upline and have them teach you. It's a 1-minute message. Hey, it's Liberty. Just touching base with you. I have an awesome opportunity that I wanted to run past you. We're getting together on Wednesday night, and I'd love to have you join me. Let me know if you're available. Something simple. That was 20 seconds. And I get so much response just from reaching out honestly and letting them know I'm having an event. Most people know that I'm with Plexus. I don't ever, I don't know. It's kind of weird when you sneakily try to get them to join something, because then they're not going to want to, because you kind of went around it in a roundabout way. So plan your posts. TinyTorch is a great app. It's actually not an app, it's a website. They don't have an app just yet. And for those of you that have not dove into that yet, there are great Plexus posts on there. They've kind of switched it up a little bit. So if you were a past user, you actually have to find people to follow to see what posts they come up with. You might all think I'm brilliant with the stuff I come up with. Not mine, promise. There's been a couple, but I do make them unique to me and make them sound like they're coming from me. And so tinytorch.com, I think it's way cheap, if not free to use. And find me. I'm under username Liberty Albright. I have probably hundreds of Plexus people that I'm following, and it will just make it easier for you to go to me and start following the people that I follow. But once you follow people, you're able to go in and look at, I can search posts. I can search magnesium, and it'll pull up all the posts that have magnesium in them, things of that nature. So planning your posts is awesome. If you need to set a reminder on your phone, that's another great way to not fail. Because you want to at least do 2 to 3 posts a day. I like to do 3. one in the morning, 7 to 9, one at noon or lunchtime, 11 to 1, and one in the evening from 7 to 9 as well. So, and then, let me sorry, I got off my notes as usual. So, okay, execution. Execution can cause a lot of failure as well. So, are you consistent? Because if you're only posting about Plexus once a week, people aren't going to see it. Facebook algorithm is crazy beast, and you will not beat it if you're doing once a week. What maybe 1/10 of your friends will see that. So if you think you're posting about Plexus too much, not everybody is seeing your Plexus posts. So be consistent with that and be intentional in everything that you do. Don't just contact people to check them off of your list. Then they're done that. But I listened to my new voice recording affirmations right before my power hour. That is a way that gets me pumped up. I now know exactly why I'm doing this. I have pictures sitting right here on my desk, and that is my reason why, right? So I have no excuse right now to do nothing but focus and be intentional, because what I want from this is to leave my day job and be able to provide a life for my family. Ugh, here I go. Crying. You cry so much with Plexus. Create a life for my family that we've dreamed of, and it's happening, and that's what's super cool. So be intentional and have that mindset. And if you're doing your affirmations before you start your power hour, you're going to be in a better mindset. So failure can make us feel passive and helpless and lead us to believe that we'll never succeed no matter what we do or try. So you need to learn from your failures and go back, and you need to evaluate what you're doing. Are you planning? Are you executing correctly? You know, if you're not doing those things, then you're not going to be successful. But as long as you're reevaluating and reaching out to your upline and your sidelines and saying, hey, this isn't working for me. What are some ideas you have? We're all here to help each other. I just finished a book. You probably saw me post about it. I bought it back in November, but it's called Strength Finders 2.0 by Tom Rath. And you do want to get this on Amazon, and you cannot buy a used one. You have to buy a brand new one. There is a code in the back of the book for a quiz that they have you do. They actually use the Gallup survey system. And it actually helps you focus on your strengths. All of our lives, we've been told to get better at what we're weak at. And this book is actually really neat. When you go through it, it gives you your top 5 strengths, and it teaches you how to use those to benefit you instead of focusing on what you're horrible at. And if you weren't made to be a conversationalist, you're never going to be a conversationalist, because it's so hard to break through that. You could if you really tried, but is it going to come naturally to you? It's not going to come natural, because that's not in your DNA. And so this book actually talks to you about using your top strengths and how to use those to benefit your business. So with all of that being said, the phrase that I first said in the beginning, which is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Brene Brown did a TED Talk about this phrase. And she is the author of Daring Greatly. And that is another great book about vulnerability, because in this business, we are very vulnerable. We open ourselves up and are scared and terrified just to share with people. And so she says that she wants people to look at that question differently, and says, was it worth it even if you fail? So was it worth it even if you fail? Are you doing this for the right reasons? Are you doing this to change people's lives? Because if you change people's lives and you fail at the success side of this, was it still worth it? It absolutely is, for sure. So if you're passionate about this and you love to change people's lives, it's going to be worth it so much that you don't fail. So that's all I got for you guys.
Love it, Livy. Holy cow. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you, Livy. Lots of stuff there, you guys. I hope you guys took that all in like I did. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, really quick, you guys. Serena, she was running late. We weren't sure if she'd get on, but she has a couple things she wants to share with you guys. I know we're getting into, but I figured the first call, the new year, is going to be might be a little bit longer than normal. So we understand if you guys have to go, but hopefully you can hang on because I know Serena's got some awesome things to share with you as well. So Serena, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Libby. That was awesome. I'm glad I jumped on just in time to get to you. Hear ya. Always an inspiration. Hey, guys, I just want to let you know that, as the new year gets started, of course, we are all fired up and ready to go and everything, but I just want to let you know that you're not always going to be motivated to do this, but it's going to take commitment to do the things that you want to do. Put that dream board up, put those affirmations and those goals in writing, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you accountable. Find an accountability partner and work with them constantly and always, okay? But so even though you're not always going to be motivated to work your business, there's going to be those days where you're like, I don't feel like doing that, but you should, because you've committed to do something better for yourselves, something better for your family, and it's going to work. It's going to work for you if you are committed to do so. Put those blinders on. Don't look left, don't look right. Look at that goal straight in front of you and go for it. Those tiny steps that you are taking to reach the little goals that you set, because you have to set yourself little goals. Those steps that you take to hit those little goals are making huge impacts on that big goal of being a diamond or being an emerald someday. All of these steps are steps towards that goal, and it's going to make a big difference, okay? So make sure you're working on that. Make sure that you are doing your reaching out every single day to people, following up with people. But I would charge you and challenge you to find 3 new people each and every week, to new Facebook friends that maybe you have a mutual friend, but you really don't know this person. It's okay. Friend them. They'll ask you, how do I know you? And you can say, I don't know, but I thought it'd be cool to, they're going to see you in your post, and then they're going to start asking questions. That happened to me today. Somebody who has, I honest to God don't know this person, but I friended them because they were a friend of a friend. And so I've been watching her, and she's been watching me. Kind of like a big Facebook stalking frenzy going on over here. And I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's get you on. So it works out. Just go ahead and friend them. If they don't want to be your friend, they're not going to accept your friendships, okay? Or they can block you. So, if they get all annoyed with you and stuff, well, hey, you're not losing out on anything. So anyways, what I would suggest to you is go for it. Put those goals in writing, make steps to make those goals happen and achieve, because those little goals make huge strides towards that big, huge goal. Okay? That's all I got for you.
Awesome. Serena, thank you. I love it. And Mandy and I were laughing because she had the same thing not long ago we got to laughing about, because she friended somebody and the gal was like, do I know you? Mandy's like, no, but you're going to. So that made us laugh. So yes, you will have that, you guys. Serena, great tips. Libby, great tips. Thank you guys so much. One last thing, you guys, is the Dream Team Retreat. Don't forget, I want to see so many more of you qualify for that. So doing these goals, I want you guys there. So I want to see every single one of you go to San Diego with us. So shoot for that as well. Don't forget, we've got that going on until the end of February. I love, because Jamie's so excited about it. So I love it because she's going. She's jumping up and down. Anyways, you guys.
Jeannie, real quick.
Yes.
We do have quite a few newbies on here that still can make that. Do you mind just touching base with that real quick, and then I can tag them in this? Okay.
Yes, I will. Yes, definitely. What it is, you guys, is you have to be gold by the end of February. If you are brand new, you can still get to gold. Very easy by the end of February, okay? So work with your sponsor, your upline to do that. If you are gold or above, you have to get to the next rank. If you lost rank, this started in October, so if you lost rank coming into October, you have to regain rank to qualify to go, okay? You also have to sponsor 5 personally level 1 ambassadors into the business. So that way it's you doing the work as well, not just your team. That's a big thing. So anybody can do this, and then we are going to San Diego. I'm going to get a beach house for all of us, so you guys will just have to pay for your transportation to get there. Maybe a little bit of snacks and food, and you know, if you guys like something fancy to drink, you might have to bring those too. But we're gonna have fun sitting on the beach, putting our toes in the sand, just visiting and having a good time. You know, talking about things, really some team building, some leadership fun activities, kind of a treasure. I don't know, we'll see. Some different fun things I won't tell you guys about that I have planned. So I'm excited. I want to see you guys there. It's going to be spring fever. So we're all going to want to be in San Diego. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much.